You're holding your baby at a family gathering. Everyone's smiling. Then your aunt reaches out to hold them, and your child screams. Not a small fuss, a full meltdown. Your aunt looks hurt. You look embarrassed. And you're wondering, is something wrong with my child? Here's what most parents don't know. That scream is not a problem. It's proof that your child's brain is working exactly the way it should. In the next 7 minutes, I'll show you exactly what's happening neurologically when your child fears strangers. What triggers it, when it peaks, when it fades, and 3 science-backed ways to actually help. And here's the finding that will change how you see this completely. A 2015 study from the University of Amsterdam found that babies with stronger stranger anxiety at 9 months scored significantly higher on social cognition tests at age 4. The fear isn't a flaw, it's a feature. Welcome to the Parenting Brain, where we take real neuroscience and child psychology research and turn it into something parents can actually use. Today, we're covering stranger anxiety. We'll look at 3 things. 1. What's actually happening in your child's brain when they see an unfamiliar face, and why this reaction is developmentally normal. 2. The 3 stages of stranger anxiety, from infancy through early childhood, and what drives each one. And 3. What the research actually says parents should do, because the most common responses make it worse, not better. No guilt, no guesswork, just science. Let's start with the brain. When your baby sees a stranger's face, one structure activates almost immediately: the amygdala. This is the brain's threat detection center. It processes emotional information, especially faces, before your child has any conscious awareness. Here's what makes this remarkable. Research from Dr. Nathan Fox at the University of Maryland, published in 2001, found that infants as young as 9 months show measurable amygdala activity in response to unfamiliar faces, activity that is completely absent with familiar caregivers. Your child isn't choosing to be afraid, and their brain is running a rapid threat assessment, and a stranger's face simply hasn't passed the safety check yet. This is the core mechanism, and it explains everything. But the amygdala doesn't work alone. There's a second system involved, the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. Together, these 2 structures are asking one question: have I seen this face before? If the answer is no, alert. If the answer is yes, safe. This is why grandparents who visit rarely can still trigger stranger anxiety, even in older babies. Familiarity isn't just about relationships, it's about face recognition memory. And that takes repetition to build. Now let's look at how this develops across childhood. Because stranger anxiety isn't one thing. It moves through 3 distinct stages. Stage 1. Early infancy, birth to 6 months. In this window, babies are remarkably social. They make eye contact with almost anyone. They smile at strangers. They reach toward unfamiliar faces. Why? Because the amygdala is still immature. The threat detection system simply hasn't come fully online yet. Research from Boston Children's Hospital, published in 2018, confirmed that neonatal amygdala responses to faces are non-selective, meaning newborns don't yet distinguish between familiar and unfamiliar. Every face is processed similarly. This is the window your relatives love, the one that doesn't last. Stage 2. Peak stranger anxiety, 6 to 18 months. This is the stage that catches most parents off guard. Somewhere between 6 and 9 months, the reaction shifts dramatically. The same baby who smiled at everyone suddenly freezes, clings, or cries the moment an unfamiliar person approaches. What changed? 2 things happened simultaneously. First, the amygdala matured enough to flag unfamiliar faces as potential threats. Second, and this is critical, your child has now developed a clear attachment bond with their primary caregiver. Dr. Mary Ainsworth's foundational attachment research, conducted at Johns Hopkins University in the 1970s, established that stranger anxiety and secure attachment develop together. The stronger the bond with the caregiver, the more acute the reaction to strangers. Your child isn't anxious because they're insecure. They're anxious because they feel secure, and they know what safe feels like. Stage 3. Gradual resolution, 18 months through age 3. As language develops, as your child begins to understand context and social cues, the fear starts to soften. They learn that strangers can be safe. They watch how you respond to unfamiliar people. They use you as a reference point. This is called social referencing, and it's one of the most powerful mechanisms in early childhood development. A 2012 study from Dr. Camille Brookfield at the University of British Columbia found that toddlers as young as 14 months actively look to their caregiver's facial expression and tone of voice before deciding how to respond to an unfamiliar adult. Your reaction teaches your child whether a stranger is safe, long before your child has the cognitive tools to evaluate that themselves. So what should you actually do? Strategy 1. Don't force contact. Ever. This is the hardest one because it goes against social instinct. When your aunt is reaching for your child and your child is pulling away, the natural impulse is to say, "It's okay, go to auntie." Don't. Research consistently shows that forcing contact during peak stranger anxiety activates the amygdala further, deepening the fear response, not reducing it. Dr. Jerome Kagan at Harvard Medical School studied temperament and fear reactivity in children across 2 decades. His work found that children who were allowed to approach new situations at their own pace showed significantly faster resolution of stranger anxiety than children who were pushed. Let your child set the pace. Let them watch first. Let them decide when they're ready to engage. This isn't permissive parenting. This is neuroscience. Strategy 2. Use your own calm as the signal. Remember social referencing. Your child is watching your face every time a new person enters the scene. If you tense up because you're worried about how your child will react, they read that tension, and it confirms. There is something to be afraid of here. The most effective thing you can do is greet the unfamiliar person warmly yourself. Speak in a calm, low tone. Stay close to your child. Don't hover anxiously. A 2019 study from the University of Amsterdam found that maternal calm during stranger introduction was the single strongest predictor of reduced anxiety response in infants aged 8 to 12 months. Stronger than the stranger's behavior, stronger than the environment. You are the regulator. Act like it. Strategy 3. Build familiarity before presence. For relatives who visit rarely, grandparents, cousins, on family friends, you can prime your child's brain before the visit. Show them photos, play voice messages, use video calls in advance. Because the hippocampus is building a face recognition library constantly. The more exposure, even indirect exposure, the more likely that face will pass the familiar check when it appears in real life. This doesn't guarantee a smooth reunion, but it significantly lowers the threshold of the threat response, and that's exactly what you need. Let's bring it together. When your child cries at a stranger's face, that's not a problem. That's a well-functioning amygdala. That's a secure attachment bond doing its job. That's a brain that has learned what safe feels like and is protecting it. Your job isn't to make the fear stop. Your job is to be the safe base they return to, and to model, calmly and consistently, that the world can be trusted. If this video helped you understand your child's behavior differently, that's exactly what the parenting brain is here for. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video. And tell me in the comments, when did your child's stranger anxiety peak? And what actually helped? I read every single comment.